Hey, what's up, guys? You are just in time for today's video. Stay tuned.
If you had to pick to choose NFL's 2023 Fantasy Football NFL Honors, who would you choose? Stay tuned and let's find out who would I pick. You are just in time. Cue that intro. Let's go. So today I'm going to be talking about my first, second, and third team for my NFL 2023 Fantasy Football season. Let's take a look at it. For the first team, I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position. You could say you can go Josh Allen. He can go one or two, but I'm going to choose Patrick Mahomes. For my running backs position, for my RB1, I'm going to go CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Or RB2, I'm going to go Austin Eckler. You could flip-flop either one. You could say CMC is your number 2 running back. You could say Austin Eckler is your number 1. I do think that both have tremendous upside. We've seen both running backs go number 1. I think that a lot of people will, kind of be scared to choose CMC at the first position. He did pretty good last year. He finished as a second overall pick, even though people were scared to choose him. But on the new team, you could say that maybe Elijah Mitchell is going to take touches. He won't have that full workhorse role that he did in Carolina. But what I'm thinking is the efficiency levels that he played in San Francisco, the offense is a lot better, higher chances to score, more opportunities to touch the ball. I do think his efficiency is going to weigh out the volume. But once again, I do choose Austin Eckler as my number 2 running back. If someone wants to pick him to go RB1, I wouldn't have a problem with it. At my wide receivers position, Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp. Jetta finished number 1 last year, and I do think he's in the conversation to finish the top 3 this year. You know, I think that Kirk Cousins has that, Matthew Stafford bond with Justin Jefferson. They go to breakfast together. They text each other good morning. I don't know what they do, but he's locked in on Justin Jefferson, and I'm not mad at him. Speaking of best friends, I got Cooper Kupp as my other wide receiver. You know, he was on pace for 200 targets last year. You could sit here and say he had a historical season the year before that in 2021. How is he gonna is he gonna repeat that? There's no way he can repeat that. He was on pace to repeat that last year before he got hurt. We've seen him come back from an injury. Now, once again, I do think that you have to be a little cautious with that injury, but he had plenty of time to recover. And once again, Matthew Stafford has no one to throw it to. He's thrown it to Cooper Kupp and the JV team at your local high school. That's it. So I do think Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson are my top 2 receivers on my first team. And then at number 1, you got Travis Kelce. He's earned that right to be the tight end 1. He doesn't have anyone, in range of his tier. He's tight end 1. He's tier 1, and everyone else trickles down. You could say that maybe Father's Time is going to catch up with him, and I agree to a certain degree at a certain point. But until we see that, we have no reason to have any reason to not choose him at the tight end position for your tight end 1 on my first team. On my second team, I'm gonna go Josh Allen at the quarterback position. Some people might choose Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow maybe, but I'm gonna go Josh Allen. I do think his rushing ability gives him a safe floor, even though the coaching staff does want him to take less hits this year. But I do think that he's gonna throw 4,000 yards. He's gonna give you 500 to 700 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. He's a lot to be one of those top few quarterbacks, barring injury. At my RB positions on my second team, I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor and I'm gonna go Saquon Barkley. Once again, you can flip flop either or. Saquon proved that he's back this year. He's back with explosion. He played all 17 games last year. Jonathan Taylor didn't play all 17 games, but he hurt a lot of people. He got picked for a lot of people number 1 last year, and he did hurt a lot of people. But he got hurt. I mean, what you gonna do? You can't prevent injury. You're not gonna pick a player and just hope, he might get hurt. That's all you can do. But he did have the workhorse role, and I do think that the new committee is gonna feed him the ball. They're gonna have a rookie quarterback this year. Rookie's quarterback best friend is the running back, so I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor to creep back into that top 5 position at running back. My wide receivers in the second team, I'm going Devontae Adams from the hometown Raiders. Yes, I'm a Raiders fan. I don't hate. And Jamar Chase and my wide receiver 2. Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, 2 total opposites in my opinion on what they provide for your team. Devontae Adams is completely safe. He's going to give you 12 to 1,300 yards. He's going to give you 100 catches. He's going to give you 10 touchdowns. And that's worst case scenario. He had 1,500 yards last year with Derek Carr. People can hate on Derek Carr, but, he had almost a better year. He had a better year with Derek Carr than he had with Aaron Rodgers for the majority of his career. So people want to say that he can't do it without Aaron Rodgers. he did it without him. He does have a new quarterback this year in Jimmy G, but we've seen that Jimmy G locks on to a running back. I'm sorry, he locks into one receiver at a time, aka Deebo Samuel. So he's going to get 10 targets a game easily. And Jamar Chase, he's the type of receiver that can go off for 10, 203 on any given week. And you just don't find that. Even guys like Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, those top guys, Jamar Chase is probably one of the guys that's going to give you those blow up games multiple times a year. And he might give you one or two really good games, but he's going to give you those blow up games multiple times a year. And at the tight end position, I'm going to go T.J. Hockenson. He did finish as a tight end too last year. People forget, but I'm gonna edge him out over guys like George Kittle, who's going to have a new quarterback this year. Who else can you say? You can say George Kittle. Darren Waller got traded. Kyle Pitts was a no-show last year. So, why not? T.J. Hockenson. Once again, Kirk Cousins, when he finds someone, he locks him in. He has Justin Jefferson, who he's going to give the ball to majority of the time, but he got traded to the Vikings and became the number two receiver. Number two, not only receiver on that offense, but the number two tight end in fantasy. So let that sink in what he can do with a full offseason in the team. Let's look at the third team. For my third team quarterback, I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. I do think he's going to be back with the Ravens. They just signed Odell. So I think he has reasons to come back. On top of that, there's not a lot of teams who's vying for his affection. So I think his best chance for win is in Baltimore. He's going to sign a massive deal, and he's going to become that top 5 quarterback once again. My next few running backs, I'm going to go Josh Jacobs once again for the hometown Raiders. He led the league at rushing last year, who, some people might not believe in or don't think he can repeat that. I don't think he's going to repeat the, league's rushing attempts and rushing yards and touchdowns, but I do think that he's going to be a top 5 running back. The coaching staff wants to utilize him and Devontae Adams. It's the top 2 guys in the offense, and that's the guys that are going to work the offense around. My second running back, I got Kenneth Walker. A lot of people might not believe that, but the reason why I chose him was from the time that Rashad Penny got hurt last year. He got hurt in week 5, I believe. From the time after that, from week 6 and on, he was averaging 18 attempts, almost 90 yards a game. So he's going to get that volume. On top of that, Geno's back. The whole offense is back for the most part. So you have a second year in the offense. He goes into the offseason as a starter for the first time of his career. So I do think that he's going to lead the league and a lot of statistics. So watch out for Kenneth Walker. He got that explosion, man. At the wide receiver positions, my last guys I'm going to round out with Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill. Stephon Diggs is just a stud, man. As long as he's locked into Josh Allen and as long as he's a part of that offense, he's going to stay a top 5 receiver. He's not a sexy pick. That's the thing, You're going to choose him probably at the end of the first round, and you might not be excited about it if you don't really want to go running back or you don't want to go someone with upside. You might be a little scared. You're going to go Stephon Diggs. He's real safe, but he's not sexy, but he's a stud. Tyreek Hill on the other end, just like Jamar Chase, he's got those chances to just give you complete blow-up games. He has 10 catches, 15 catches, 200 yards in his bank at any time. He's got that Jamar Chase type effect. But he also has that Devontae Adams effect, where in that offense, Tua is going to get on the ball 10 catches a game. He averaged over 100 yards last year. He has 1,700 yards. So he's real safe, but he also has that blow-up potential. And at the tight end position, on my third team, I'm going to go George Kittle. Like I said earlier with T.J. Hockenson, he's going to have a new quarterback, but he's still a stud, man. If he can stay healthy, there's not a lot of guys that you're going to put above, T.J. Hockenson, Travis Kelce, George Kittle. You might be thinking Mark Andrews. If DeMar Jackson's coming back, what about Mark Andrews? I think that Mark Andrews is definitely safe, especially with Lamar Jackson coming back, but we just don't know. We've seen him do it one year. We've seen him end up as a tight end 1. But other than that, he really had one blow-up year. And then other than that, he's been consistently safe. But I don't think he's a top tight end in the league. I just think that he's the only option in that offense, which is why he's getting so many targets. But you got Rashad Bateman coming back from injury. You got who should be healthy. You got Odell Beckham, who once again should be healthy coming in. So I think there'll be less targets for Mark Andrews to go around. But other than that, those are my top 3 teams. I want to hear what your top 3 teams are. First team, second team, and third team, all NFL, 23 NFL fantasy. Comment below and let me know. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. See ya.